What if I told you there's an exact salary, a specific number, where money literally stops making you happier? Not roughly, not approximately, an exact number. Scientists cracked this, and most people have no idea it exists. And here's what makes this even more interesting. The answer is going to mess with everything you believe about success. Because we have been sold a story our entire lives. Work harder, earn more, be happier. That's the deal, right? That's the promise. But science says that deal has an expiration date. There is a ceiling. And once you hit it, more money stops buying more joy. More zeros in your paycheck don't add more smiles to your life. Today, we find that exact ceiling. We're also going to talk about what happens above that number, because this is genuinely where the science gets wild. And by the end of this video, you will understand money in a way that most adults, even wealthy adults, never fully figure out. Let's go. In 2010, two Princeton professors published a paper that absolutely rocked the entire world of economics and psychology. Their names were Kahneman and Angus Deaton. One of them would go on to win a Nobel Prize, and what they found together was something almost nobody predicted. They surveyed over 450,000 Americans. They asked two simple questions. First, how do you feel day to day? Second, how satisfied are you with your life overall? Sounds straightforward, but the data that came back turned the science of happiness completely upside down. Here's what they discovered. As income climbed from zero all the way up to $75,000 per year, happiness climbed steadily right alongside it. More money, more happiness. Each dollar added something real and measurable to people's daily emotional well-being. That makes total sense to us. That's exactly what we all believed. But then, at exactly $75,000 per year, the line went completely flat. Stone cold flat. After that point, earning more money had zero measurable effect on day-to-day emotional happiness. None. The graph just stopped moving. The number was $75,000, and the internet absolutely lost its mind. When that study published, the headlines were everywhere. People started reshaping their entire careers around this one number. Career changers used it, pay negotiators quoted it, life coaches built entire brands on it. The $75,000 number became basically a cultural fact. Except, there was a massive problem. The study only measured one type of happiness, day-to-day emotional mood, how you feel in the moment. It didn't fully capture life satisfaction, how you feel about your life as a whole when you step back and look at the big picture. Those are two very different measurements, and that distinction matters enormously. Also worth noting before we move forward, $75,000 in 2010 money is roughly equivalent to somewhere around $110,000 today, when you adjust properly for inflation. So if someone cites the old figure at you, update it. The concept stays the same, but the number has shifted. Keep that in your back pocket. Fast forward to 2021. A researcher at the University of Pennsylvania named Matthew Killingsworth ran his own massive happiness study. And what he uncovered directly challenged everything Kahneman's team had said 11 years earlier. The ceiling, it turned out, was much, much higher. Killingsworth tracked over 33,000 working adults in real time, literally pinging them on their phones throughout the day and asking how they felt at that exact moment. Not memory, not guessing. Live emotional data collected in the middle of real life. It was one of the most rigorous happiness studies ever conducted. His conclusion? Happiness didn't plateau at $75,000. It kept climbing, measurably, all the way up to $500,000 per year, and possibly even beyond that point. The ceiling that everyone had been talking about for a decade simply was not where anyone thought it was. The rocket kept going up. But here's the critical detail, and don't skip this part. The gains slowed down significantly as income climbed higher. Going from 30,000 to 60,000 gave you a massive happiness boost. Huge, life-changing even. But going from $300,000 to $600,000, the boost was tiny, barely measurable. The returns get smaller every time. So here's how to make sense of both studies at once. Below the threshold, money is removing suffering. It buys safety, comfort, stability, security. That's survival-level happiness, and it's absolutely real. Above the threshold, money is adding pleasure. And those are completely different psychological mechanisms with completely different rules. One scales fast, the other barely scales at all. Okay, so you earn more, you can afford more. By every logical rule, you should be happier. But there's a villain in this story that the salary studies don't fully capture. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill, and it is absolutely relentless. It works against you every single time. Here's exactly how it works. You get a raise. Your mood shoots up immediately. You feel genuinely amazing. But within a few months, sometimes just a few weeks, that new salary becomes your new normal. The excitement fades completely. What felt extraordinary slowly becomes just Tuesday. Your brain recalibrates. What once felt like a luxury now feels like the bare minimum. You adapted. You upgraded your expectations automatically. And now you need the next raise, the next promotion, the next level, just to feel what you felt before at the previous one. The treadmill speeds up. This is precisely why lottery winners often end up no happier than before, and sometimes measurably more miserable within 2 years. It's why the richest kids at your school weren't automatically the happiest ones. The brain adapts to new inputs faster than you expect, always, without exception. And then there's social comparison. When you earn more and move into higher income circles, you naturally start comparing yourself to the people around you. Suddenly, what felt like real wealth feels totally ordinary, because everyone around you has the same thing. The goalpost relocates every single time. Psychologists call this phenomenon impact bias. Your brain systematically overestimates how happy future things will make you. A new salary, a new apartment, a new car. You imagine it will transform your happiness permanently. So you sacrifice sleep, time, relationships, and health to chase a number that almost never delivers what you imagined it would. Almost never. So, if money has real limits, what actually moves the happiness needle? Here's where this video goes from interesting to genuinely useful. Because the research doesn't just tell us what doesn't work, it tells us with surprising precision exactly what does. And it breaks down into 5 clear categories. Number 1, time. Study after study consistently shows that people who prioritize time over money report dramatically higher happiness levels. Not exotic vacations, everyday free time. The ability to breathe between obligations, to be present, to rest without guilt. Time that belongs to you and nobody else. A landmark study from the University of British Columbia proved that people who spent money specifically to buy back their time, paying others to handle tasks they hated, were measurably happier than those who hoarded their cash. Spending money on time is one of the highest return investments in happiness that research has ever found. Number 2, relationships. The Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest-running happiness studies in the history of science, tracking subjects for over 80 years across their entire lifespans, found one factor that predicted happiness and health better than wealth, fame, intelligence, or career success. Just one. The quality of your relationships. Full stop. People with close, warm, trusting relationships, completely regardless of income, lived longer, stayed healthier, and were dramatically happier. People who were isolated suffered the most. Even isolated wealthy people suffered enormously. Connection, not compensation, was the single greatest predictor of a good life. Number 3. Purpose. People who have a clear, genuine sense of meaning in what they do, even when they earn significantly less, score dramatically higher on life satisfaction measures. Purpose acts as a multiplier. It amplifies every other positive feeling you have. Without it, even a massive paycheck feels hollow after a while. Number 4. Experiences over things. Cornell professor Thomas Gilovich spent decades researching this, and the finding is remarkably consistent. Buying experiences makes you lastingly happier than buying material things, because experiences become woven into your identity. They become stories. They connect you to others. Things just sit in your house and eventually collect dust. And number 5, autonomy. The ability to genuinely control how you spend your time, especially at work. Study after study shows that workers with high autonomy are dramatically happier than those without it, completely regardless of salary level. Freedom over your schedule is worth more to your daily happiness than most people realize, often more than a raise. So here's the part that matters most. You. Right now. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you just landed your first job. Maybe you're somewhere completely in between. This research has one clear, practical, actionable message, and I want to break it down without any fluff. Chasing money when you're below the basic security threshold makes complete and total sense. You need it. Rent, food, healthcare, safety, stability, these genuinely buy real happiness. Don't ever let anyone romanticize poverty or being broke as some kind of virtue. That isn't noble. That is chronic stress. Get there first. That's your foundation. But once you reach that threshold, and you will reach it, don't automatically sacrifice everything else chasing the next salary tier. Because the data is completely clear on this. The happiness return on each additional dollar gets smaller every single time you climb higher. The math stops working in your favor. Guaranteed. The people who genuinely win the happiness game aren't the ones with the biggest salaries. They're the ones who figured out what they actually want and stopped letting outside culture write the definition of success for them. They stopped outsourcing that decision, and they made it deliberately, on their own terms. That's the real unlock. Most people spend their entire 20s and 30s on that treadmill, grinding insane hours for a lifestyle that keeps inflating to impress people they don't even particularly like, with money they technically haven't earned yet. That is the trap, and the data is begging you not to fall into it. You have the chance to see it coming. The science says, get to comfortable and secure first. Then, deliberately, intentionally, optimize for time, relationships, purpose, experiences, and autonomy. That is not a motivational poster. That is the literal output of decades of peer-reviewed, replicated happiness research conducted across hundreds of thousands of real human lives. That is the formula. It's that clear. And let me be direct. This doesn't mean don't be ambitious. It absolutely doesn't mean settle for less. Ambition is one of the most powerful forces you have. Earning well is genuinely important. But if your only metric for success is a salary number, just a number, you will lose. The science is not subtle about this. The smartest version of you earns enough to be genuinely secure, then invests the rest of your energy, not just your money, your actual life energy, into the things that science has proven repeatedly will make you happy. Money is a tool, an important one, but it is a terrible destination. So, the exact salary where money stops making you happier? Around $110,000 today for day-to-day emotional well-being based on the Kahneman data. But life satisfaction may keep climbing meaningfully up toward $500,000, according to Killingsworth's more recent work. And the honest answer is, both studies are right about different things. Because no single study can hand you your number. Your number depends on your city, your cost of living, your relationships, your baseline, your values. What science can tell you, with confidence and clarity, is that money is a deeply inefficient finish line once you're past the point of basic security. Start thinking beyond it now. If you're young and watching this right now, you hold the single greatest asset on the entire planet: time. Don't spend your highest energy years, the years when everything is possible, optimizing obsessively for a metric that science itself says doesn't scale. That would be the most expensive mistake you could make, by far. Design your life with intention. Earn well, absolutely, but fiercely protect your time. Invest in the people around you. Find work that carries some meaning. Collect real experiences over things. Own your own schedule where you can. That combination, exactly that combination, is what decades of real science says actually produces a happy human life. If this hit differently than you expected, drop a comment right now and tell me, what was the salary number you used to think would finally make you happy? And honestly, do you still believe that? I want to read every single one. Subscribe, because we have a lot more of this coming. See you in the next one.